Hello and welcome to the academyofworship.org YouTube channel. My name's Chris. Today we're talking about the Fender Blues Jr. This is a great amplifier for anyone really looking for just a great all-around guitar amp. Fenders are world-renowned. You know what you're getting when you get a Fender. This is a great all-around amp. It works great with pedals, and as you're going to see, it works great without pedals. All the parts you heard in the song in the beginning of this video were played through the Blues Jr. I simply switched pickups and changed the tone of the amp to get the different guitar sounds. There's some delay and some reverb and stuff on there as well, but you get the idea of what the amp sounds like. Let's jump over and see what we got as far as features and do a few sound examples of the guitar straight through the amp. Alright, so switching over to the amp here, as you can see we've got the input. We've got the volume control, which is not the master volume. This is your gain control. The higher you go, the harder you're pushing the front end of the amp. You get more gain, more distortion, more overdrive. This is a treble knob. You got a bass knob, a middle knob. Then you got your master volume here, so that's the overall volume of the amp. And then the amp does have a reverb. There's no effects loop. The amp has a Fender speaker in it. Nothing's been changed out. It's what came with it. You'll also notice next to the volume knob, there's a fat switch. When you press this in, it's a mid-boost switch, but it also hits a little bit harder. There's a little more gain. So that basically does kind of what it says, is it makes things fatter. It makes things more. So the way I have the amp set right now, I have the treble rolled back quite a bit. This amp can be a little bright depending on what kind of pickups you're using. I have the bass pumped up a little bit. The mid is almost straight up and down. It's a little bit boost. And I have it around bedroom levels right now. It's not super duper loud. This amp can crank though. If you get this thing up in volume, it sounds good, but it's loud. Let's see what we got. Right now I'm using my Fender Stratty Squire 2 from the 89 that I've heavily modified. Right now we're on the bridge pickup, which is the Seymour Duncan Screamin' Demon. Everything's kind of pegged as far as tones go, and let's see what we got. It's just an all-around great, clean tone. This amp takes pedals awesome. There's a lot you can do with it. But let's go see what we can do as far as tone knobs go. So you saw where it was set before. Let's put everything straight up and down and see what we got. I'll leave the volume where it's at. All right, so everything straight up and down. Volume's still a little bit below halfway. Sounds good. There's nothing wrong with that tone. I just like a little bit less high end in the amp, so that's why I had it rolled back. So let's go over and see what the range of these knobs is. Let's start with the treble. Let's dime it. Let's pull it all the way out. All right. Right back straight up. Let's try the bass knob now. All the way up. All right, bass knob all the way down. All right, let's put it back to halfway. We got the middle knob. Let's put it all the way up. All right, middle knob all the way down, scooping the mids. All right, everything straight up and down one more time, just to get an idea of what it was again. All right, let's go ahead and remove some of that treble. More bass, crank that up just a little bit. Let's scoop out some of the mids there, see what happens here. It's a good standard clean tone right there. Let's go ahead and see what we can do if we leave the volume where it's at. We're going to push the fat switch. Here's clean. The fat switch engaged. It's a lot more present in the mid-range. You can hear it poking out a lot more. Let's go ahead and disengage it. Let's go ahead and roll the volume knob around so we can go where we're at, which is still pretty clean. We'll go pretty low. Bump the master up just a little bit. Now, we put that back down and we dime the volume. This is the range of non-fat switch mode. It's pretty good. Let's go ahead and keep that there. I'm going to roll the treble off just a little bit. We're going to hit that fat switch. This is dimed gain. So that's pretty crazy. I think that if you back things off to about 8 with the fat switch on, we've got a pretty good... It's a nice breakup. That's something you could probably set it at, put some pedals in front of it, play with your volume knob to clean it up. So you got this. You have some play there. You could put a boost pedal or you could put an overdrive pedal in front of that. That would sound fantastic. Let's clean up the amp a little bit and then turn the reverb knob. Back it down to about 6. We'll take the fat switch off. Back to this. Go ahead and put the reverb up to about 9 o'clock. About halfway. Let's dime it all the way up. You could do surf with it. That works. But it is kind of a classic spring reverb sound. It's not my favorite sound. It's a little bit high-endy for me, but if you're playing that kind of stuff that's real jangly, then sure, it'd probably work great. Now, let's check out what some single coils sound like with this. So it's still at the clean setting. Got the fat switch out. Some treble rolled off, bass rolled up a little bit. So we have the humbucker. Got position number 2 or 4, depending on how you look at it. So it's part of the humbucker and middle pickup. Middle pickup. We got position number 2 or 4, depending again how you look at it. But it's the neck and the middle. Now, neck pickup. That's a great single coil sound right there. So this amp has pretty much what you need. If you just need an amp to set on the ground, plug it in, turn it up, twist just a couple of knobs to get a good sound with pretty much any guitar, this amp works great for that. This amp is at home in worship, it's at home in rock music, it's at home in pretty much everything. The onboard gain's not going to get you to metal territory necessarily, but it can get you most places up to that. This amp is fairly inexpensive. It's available pretty much everywhere. You can hit up reverb.com, they've got them. Look at your classifieds, go to a music store, they're everywhere. These are very common amps. And for good reason. They sound great. They last. This amp's not a very heavy amp at all. It's easily portable. They just work and do what they're supposed to do. So that's it for now. Go out to your music store, check these amps out, see what you think about them. Like always, twist some knobs, flip some switches, see what you like. I'll see you in the next one. See you later.